K-A-L-E. Hi, I'm Darnell with Live Young Lifestyle, and today I'm making a kale salad. I am super excited about this vegetable because you will not believe the health benefits of kale. So first of all, kale is anti-inflammatory. Now, you've heard me say this many times, but inflammation in our bodies is the root of all diseases and of aging. Second is there's tons of fiber. There is so much fiber in this, it's very hard to digest, which is why I'm gonna teach you how to make a salad that's actually super good for you and great for your digestion. It's really high in calcium, which is strange. So you'll never see an ad that says kale did a body good, but kale does a body good. There's a lot of other vegetables as well, like bok choy and things like that, that have this kind of same thing that help with osteoporosis and supply you with a lot of calcium, but kale is right up there on the top. In addition, believe it or not, you wouldn't look at this vegetable and think that it was full of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids, but it is. So you can take a fish oil pill, which I do. You can also eat kale. So we're gonna make a massaged kale salad today because yes, there is so much fiber in this that you need to massage it into submission. So first, what we're gonna do is we take this big, what I call the spine, because it's literally like that, and you take the kale off of it. So, it depends on what kind of kale you're using. There's purple, there's green, there's a lot of different kinds of kale, but sometimes you can just go like this and take it off like that and strip it, and that's what you're left with. We do kind of chop these up and use them for soup and stew because you can cook it for longer. Now, the recipe is going to be up on liveyounglifestyle.com, but I'm also going to have it in the description. So when you see this video and you say, oh, what are the measurements? It's going to be down there in the description. So you click see more, read more, and it'll go down into that. Also, if you're learning anything from this video and you like these videos, please take a moment to click the subscribe button, which is also somewhere down there. And this channel does not only do healthy recipes, but it's every way to live young. So skincare and diet and nutrition and exercise, all of that is included on this YouTube channel. So if you're learning anything, please subscribe. Now because I'm gonna feed a bunch of people, which I usually do, I'm making this a double batch. So this is actually 2 bunches of kale, but on the website I'll have it just made with 1 bunch, which feeds about 3 to 4 people. Now I know that this looks like a big giant mound of kale, because it is, but you'll see that once we massage it with the lemon, it really breaks it down and it cuts it down to a much smaller size. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start at the top and I'm gonna cut this into little strips, kind of like ribbon. So you cut it into 1/4 inch strips. Okay, so I just cut all of this kale into ribbons. Again, it's a lot because this is 2 bunches. It's cut into ribbons, and the way that this salad works, which I've ordered kale salad before in a restaurant, and I could never figure out, like, what are they doing? Are they blanching it? What's going on? And I realized, no, it's raw, but they're having the lemon juice. What the acid does in the lemon is it breaks down the kale a little bit, and it also it helps with the bitterness. So it kind of cuts the bitterness and it breaks down the kale. So I'm just squeezing this directly onto the kale. So the juice from the lemon actually breaks it down, and you have to massage it in there, and you want to really get that lemon to break that kale down, and you'll see that we'll end up with about half of the bulk because it will break down, which makes it easier to digest, but you have to massage it a little bit. So you gotta get your hands dirty, work with the kale, because kale is so important. The other way that I add this to my diet is I'll put a handful of raw kale into a smoothie of blueberries. And so that's another way to do this. So you'll see that it's starting to get a little smaller. And you'll see in a moment when I add the olive oil, it also helps to break it down. So we've massaged that for a little bit, not long, maybe like, you know, a couple minutes or so. And then you're gonna add the extra virgin olive oil. Sorry for the hands, but I don't wanna wash them in between. Now, if you're doing one bunch, you're gonna add 1/4 cup. So this is 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil. And again, you just keep working it through there and it starts looking more like the kale that you would have in a restaurant in a salad. Now you'll see, like, the more that you work with this, you're gonna see a lot of like water that comes out of it. So now I can already feel it starting to kind of work a little bit easier. So what I would normally do is I'll set this whole thing, I'll dump this into like a strainer, a colander, and just let it sit for a little bit and let that kind of liquid soak out of it before I add the other ingredients. So I just placed it into like a strainer over that same bowl, and I'm gonna continue to massage it, and it will get a little bit more of the liquid out of it. So you can kind of see it's still kind of wet and it'll still drain out. This is a high maintenance vegetable. It packs a giant bang for its buck, but you gotta put the love into it. We have massaged it, we have taken it to dinner, we've had a couple glasses of wine, and it's all gonna pay off. So this is all drained. We're gonna add this back into the bowl. Now the rest of it is optional. It's good just like it is. If you wanna add, you know, if you wanna have it just like that with a little salt and pepper and maybe add grilled salmon or grilled chicken breast over the top, that's all good. But if you wanna even have this on its own, I like to add, you know, like 1/2 cup of the grape tomatoes. And these are slivered almonds that you can either brown them or toast them 2 different ways. You can put them in the oven until they start turning brown, or you can put them in a pan on the stove. And they start getting a little brown and crunchy, and it just adds a really nice crunch to this salad. So I try to add like about 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, depending on what you're doing. And if you're vegan, you wouldn't want to add the Parmesan unless you do like a vegan Parmesan, but this is like an organic Parmesan cheese that I also add to it. And then you toss this. I mean, it's super healthy, super yummy. It's beautiful. I think the tomatoes add just a little bit of color to it, and the toasted almonds add that texture. And then you've got that creaminess that you add with the Parmesan cheese. So whether you do this alone or you do it with, you know, some additional animal protein on the side or vegetable protein on the side, this is a salad that is ridiculously healthy. So when you can find a salad that you can make at home that's organic, full of fiber, has omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, has a ton of calcium, and it tastes delicious, that's a really good way to live young.